all that stuff. I'm rocking it.
Welcome to the dark crypt of the Black Swan. I don't know. Abigail is like Black Swan horror movie. When we had Black Swan horror movie many years ago, it was actually pretty good. But this is less an art house movie, more of a ha ha ha. Oh, there's vampires. Ha ha ha. Here's a bad joke. Here's a vampire. This was stupid amounts of fun. I don't know if this is going to be the best horror movie of the year, but I absolutely loved it. I think they'll do a sequel in time for this girl not to age out too fast. 14 playing 12, and she's fantastic. And also, we get our horror alumni from Scream back with us, Scream 5 and 6. I loved Abigail so much. I definitely will. I might have a date coming up that I go see it again because they asked if I had seen Abigail. I was like, no, but I will go see that again because I absolutely love that movie. Um, what did you think of Abigail? What is that you're holding?
This is a makeup bag that has no makeup in it that I was
Oh,
given from the marketing company. It's very cute, it's very big, and it's got Abigail. It's one of those things that if you didn't know that this was a ballerina vampire film, I mean, they pretty much don't try and hide it on any of the marketing things for the movie. So there's that. And I tried to do my little ballerina outfit that I have on today with my she's got a little choker. I've got my little skirt that's very like that. So,
you gotta
I
do a
wanted
twirl.
to,
You gotta do the
I know, I
dance.
gotta do the pirouette and all that.
Can you do
Which
that? Can
I
you
will,
stand up and?
no, I'm sitting down on this thing. I can't stand up. But I will say at the beginning of Abigail, I was in. I think Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli open. I think the beginning when they show Abigail the ballerina, who is played by Alicia Weir. Everyone should know that name because she is the reason to watch this movie. I'm not going to be as generous with the film as Chris, but we'll get into that. Beginning, you see her on a stage in this beautiful opera house. She's doing her ballerina moves and all that stuff, and the camera work, the cinematography, overhead, looking down, gorgeous, stunning. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to see. You also see a group of people who are planning to kidnap her when she leaves, played by Dan Stevens, Melissa Barrera, Kevin Durand, um, Catherine Newton, Angus Cloud, and I forget the last person's name, and I apologize.
Dan Stevens,
Um,
by the way, who we just talked about in our Godzilla review.
exactly, which is kind of funny. He has
Like the best actor of the year because he plays two completely different characters.
I will not say he's best actor of the year after we talk about this, because believe me, he's one of the reasons why I have some issues with it. The final person in the group is William Catlett. Now, they track Abigail down, they kidnap her, and they take her to this house. I'm going to start with this, and this is one of the things that I noted is going to give me a little bit like what's going on with this movie. When they track Abigail, there's many ways to track people in films. They make sure to emphasize there's a tracker about the size of my phone underneath the van or a car that she's in that is so accessible to the street and everywhere that it almost looked like a joke. It looked like some sort of like, hey, let's play like we're tracking someone from Toys R Us, like sort of fake thing. It was that to me was like, what the hell are we doing with this? But meanwhile, I was like, all right, I'll give it a leeway, whatever. The crooks steal Abigail. I often wonder though that it seems like they didn't realize it was that easy to be stealing a girl who or kidnapping a girl who is supposed to be the daughter of like one of the major crime, like the crime syndicate's bosses. I would think that there would be security 24/7, and yet there really wasn't. So that to me, again, it's like you guys aren't that smart. But you kind of get to know the little you kind of get to know this like ragtag group of criminals in the van. They don't let each other's names. you sort of realize like, okay, you guys don't know each other from different heists, so somehow you were brought together. Fine. They go to this like beautiful manor where they're told they need to wait 24 hours. The head of this person, the head of sort of the head of the gang that brought them all together, played by Giancarlo Esposito, he's like, I'm gonna make the deal, $70 million. Once we get this, that all of us get 10 million, and then we're on our way. Melissa Barrera is the only one who was allowed to talk to Abigail, so there's no, hit or miss, or no one makes a mistake and stuff like that. And then to allow everyone to say names, Giancarlo Esposito gives them the names of the Rat Pack. So Dan Stevens is Frank, and then there's Dean, there's Joey, there's Peter, there's Sammy, and there's Don Rickles. And Don Rickles is played by William Atherton. Not William William Catlett. So Melissa Barrera, when she's there, she's Joey. She decides to do a read on everyone. You get to kind of, oh, are these who they are and stuff like that. Again, the acting wasn't this bad at this point. Then there's some kind of crazy stuff going on. Angus Cloud, RIP, died too soon. He goes down in the kitchen, which does look a lot like the Saw kitchen with the colors. He is not the brightest bulb in this group, but next thing you know, he is headless. What's going on? We don't know. And yet everyone's kind of like freaked out. They want to leave the house. Then they're locked in. Now, the house is amazing. I got to say, from the technical standpoint, production design, music, lighting, cinematography, I'm down with that. There's some scenes with the practical and special effects when you find out how light hits a vampire. Chef's kiss, not really seen. It's like a little bit, they definitely take a little nods to different vampire films like Fright Night, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Hunger. There's a little bit of a French movie called Livid that I thought this was going to be like. It definitely wasn't. And it also has that sort of Agatha Christie feel when you have like each character sort of being knocked off one by one, yet you don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, the reveal is very much, I mean, obviously it's on the poster and all that stuff, but I felt like the reveal was way too soon. Like, yes, us as an audience know what this is, that just from this, but I thought they would like kind of like, I don't know, play with the people a little bit longer, like maybe think that one of them is in on it and stuff like that. Actually, if one of them was in on it, that would have been, I think, a better movie and stuff like that. But halfway through the film, when all the characters, or at least the ones who are surviving, get down to the basement, they have trapped Abigail. They know she's a vampire. They know this isn't going well. People's IQs just drop like drastically. And then Dan Stevens, who sort of had an accent, it was very faint. His accent just comes out like he's like, hey, forget about it. Oh, we need to get out of here. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm from Queens, I'm from New York. What are you doing? And then Kevin Durant has like, oh, mon Dieu, I am French Canadian. And then his IQ drops drastically. It's like all the characters, once Abigail tells everyone who they actually are, everyone just acts stupid. It's like, guess what? We're going to split off into pairs and let's do stuff one by one and this, and that. And that to me was like, what are we doing? I really don't understand. Now, Gillette and Open not only did the Scream movies, but they also did Ready or Not. I'm going to let you know, he definitely has a way that he wants his leading ladies to look at the end. I was on
oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. I was on a review show earlier and they asked if, the house in this could be is like the same house in Ready or Not. And I was like, the house in Abigail is more like the Helps house. I mean, it is a big house, don't get me wrong. It's amazing. But the house in Ready or Not, you could like put a Buick through the hallways. It was so huge. Could I see the two ladies of this film possibly being in a third one, like in the same universe? Possibly. I mean, there's some effed up shit wherever, whatever universe this place is, these two women are in. I could see if there was a third one. And, they do on this sort of like bizarro land sort of thing. I could see them coming together some way as survivors and trying to help other women. I actually would like to see that movie. I thought Melissa Brer's character um was actually probably the best one of the group. And I think her acting was also great too. I think there's a certain scene with Catherine Newton. Wow, Catherine Newton really has to go through the ringer on this one. Like at one point, she's in one of the grossest scenes in the film. Like I could just smell that and taste it in my mouth. And kudos to the production design and again, the practical effects on that because man, although it is, why could no one else smell that? It is a big house and everything is sealed off. So I will believe me, I'm all about films that it's like, you cannot tell me that you cannot smell that person through a wall. You can tell me you cannot smell that person when there's like 3 stories down and it's also like all doors are like sealed shut and all that stuff. Again, I like the Agatha Christie aspect of the film. I wish it did a little bit more. There was like a little near dark sort of thing when someone turns into a vampire. I kind of got the wink on that, which I'm fine. Like if you want to do winks and nods to other vampire films that are known for being some of the best vampire films, more power to you, especially with little scenes that it's like, that's the way to do it. Thank you very much. But the acting to me just got so preposterous halfway through and beyond that I was like, what are we doing here? You guys have an amazing ensemble cast. And I feel like their chops weren't really, I don't know. I just didn't buy it. But this film you need to see for Alicia Weir, who plays Abigail. Hands down, one of the best vampires I've ever seen. I mean, this kid's got some acting chops. Like for her to play acting like she's a scared 12-year-old to just flipping that switch to like, bitch, I've been alive for 400 years. Let's not play with me. I'm going to eat you and eat your heart, and I'm going to laugh with my eyes while I do it. She had that confidence and charisma that you want to have with a vampire. Also, it was a little odd though that the main goal of why she was doing this is because of daddy issues. Because basically, it's like one of the things I was on, it's like, how do you handle being 12 years old for 400 years? I'm like, well, one, you just want to have people that you can talk to. And it's going to be kind of shitty if your dad turns you into a vampire and then for 200 years doesn't really pay attention to you. I can understand being a little upset about that, considering there's apparently not many vampires in the world and stuff, and especially since this is your father. But to have the lead character have daddy issues when you're an immortal being, a moral and immortal being, I thought was a little cheesy and somewhat insulting. But again, look, Alicia Weir pulled it off. Angelina Ballerina with daddy issues, fine. That's fine. You little vampire black swan, I'm loving you. Do I recommend seeing this film? Look, it had some great practical effects. Aesthetically, and technically, there's nothing wrong with the film. It's just when it got to the acting and the cheesiness halfway through and on that I had a major issue with. I would say see it in theater. There is some puking. I think it'll be great on streaming too. I'm looking forward to seeing what this directing duo do again. I hope they do work with Melissa Barrera. And, again, I'd love to see a third, maybe a trilogy having another final girl and then all 3 of them come together for some sort of like huge climax with Samara Weaving and somebody else. Who knows? Maybe that's in the cards. Maybe it's not. We'll see. But I know, Chris, you love the film.
Oh my god, I love this film so much. Yeah, there's problems with the acting here and there. I do like the fact that Melissa was teaming up with her Scream directors again, which is fantastic because they work really well. And that might carry on to more films. And who knows? This little girl could become the next Kristen Dunst. I know it's not the same performance as Claudia. Please don't try to think I'm comparing that. But her switch of like, oh, don't hurt me, I'm so innocent, and you know what I mean, was just absolutely insane. And she talks about, and there's a bunch of great interviews online. You can watch her and Melissa together in the interview. They're all pretty and cleaned up with makeup and everything. And so it's a very contrast to the blood soaked just, and she talks about like, oh, I've never been covered in so much blood before. I was cleaning, like Melissa talks about how she was cleaning blood out of places for days. The little girl just says, I've never been drenched in blood before. This is her first blood cannon ever in her face, which is what they used to do the effect of somebody being blown up. The actresses are like, ready, ready, hold on, here it comes, because they have to brace the floor as that thing punches them in the face. I've been hit with a cannon of air before and been blown back. Imagine blood being pumped out through that thing. It's unbelievable. Definitely go see this movie in theaters. Otherwise, wait till it comes on DVD. I hope the Blu-ray or DVD or whatever it is these days, it has some great bonus features to talk about the just the gore effects, because I absolutely loved all that stuff.
I mean,
The
yeah,
prosthetics that the little girl had to wear or whatever. She talks about how she was just like dished the
the
whole
teeth.
movie. Yeah, she was. That was the one part she said that was not what she was expecting. Trying to put those in, I have a brace in my mouth that fills in a gap in my smile. But as somebody who does wear vampire fangs to many events that are custom made to my teeth, let me tell you something. You talk like this for the first 30 minutes of the entire conversation you have with somebody. So try and get that out of your way. Do your ABCs with your fake fangs in. I recommend, by the way, Horror Show Jack. He does all of my vampire fangs, and he'll be doing my vampire fangs for the upcoming vampire ball I will be at late May at Hammond Castle in Gloucester, Massachusetts, with Isabella Sinclair. I recommend this film. Go check it out. It's playing in all my local theaters like Blackstone Valley Cinema Deluxe and AMC and theaters. If you wanted a decent a female led vampire movie, this is one. We don't get a lot of those. Most vampire movies are still run by guys. Um, the Underworld series aside, uh, I would relate her performance to like Regine from Fright Night Part Two, just in terms of like badass vampire bitches. So thank you everyone. Like, subscribe on this video. Go check out Katie over on her channel, and she's got other great reviews also on her Facebook page, The Blonde in Front, and the Radio Horror page as well, and the other reviews here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel. Oh, and speaking of vampires, go buy my book, Vlada: A Dracula Tale, on my Etsy or on Amazon or on Barnes and Noble or your local comic book store. We gender swap the cast of Dracula. Thank you, everyone.